This is going to be a world versus world roaming commentary showing how to play the Medic Specter build, which is a very underrated build for roaming because it's kind of hard to play due to the reliance on tab targeting to support your allies, whereas other supports just need point blank AoEs or ground targeting to support. And so there's a lot more like mechanical targeting required, which is kind of like an unnecessary thing due to the fact that it's kind of like a single target healer, and that makes it really good in like duo comps like this where I'm just roaming around with one spellbreaker. But it's not as good in more scaled up fights where you have like multiple targets that you need to focus heals on, because they need to be standing together to get the AoE from your healing, and the AoE is kind of small, right? So this is a really good build for roaming in like a duo comp, and the spellbreaker gets a lot of value from me giving them quickness from the Scepter 3, which is my main thing that I want to be doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to spam our Scepter 3 on our duo or whoever the DPS is that we want to like pump up. We give them the quickness and the barrier, which protects them and stuff. And then as soon as we get focused, we want to use the Shroud abilities to like go into stealth while healing our allies. So going into Shroud in general, just using those abilities, cleanses, gives barrier and stuff. But you can use the Pistol 5, which in combination with the Shroud 2 or the Shroud 5, which are blast finishers, will give you stealth, and stealth gives you a lot of other things because we're Shadow Arts, and because we're a Spectre, it also gives you extra barrier. And see, in stealth here, we also get the sneak attack, and when you target your ally with the sneak attack, that's going to allow you to heal. So we mostly give barrier and boons, but the Shadow Squall gives a lot of healing to that single target, and we can really give our ally a lot of support. Now, in this situation, we're going for a Mechanist here, and I've also got a lot of aggressive potential here, not just giving quickness to my warrior, but also because, as you can see, I'm using Devour Venom, which applies a lot of Immobilize, which helps my ally to land their damage, and I've got the Ritualist stats, so I've got a decent amount of condition duration, which means that that Immobilize is going to last a while, and I've just applied it, as you can see, and now I've just applied it, and now you can see they're immobilized in all the, they probably got Bull's Charge there as well. We're going to help our ally get the Stomp there with the Stealth combo on the down body, and we actually got the Stomp on the Willbender here for the stun on them. And now we're just going to try to pull some Condis on them. You can see that the damage of this build is not through just sheer hitting the target. It's actually through the damage that I do by giving barrier to my ally, because whenever I give barrier to my ally, it gives them the Rot Wallow Venom, which applies Torment to their target. And so I am doing damage while just supporting my ally, and that's why you don't want to go Minstrels unless you're running like the Zerg support Spectre build. You want to be running the Ritualist version, which gives you more pressure to end these fights. But as a result, you're going to be squishier. As you can see, this Willbender jumps on me and one-shots me because I had no cooldowns. So you could also run Shadow Step instead of the Devour Venom to be a little bit more tanky when you're in outnumbered situations. Now in this scenario, we're going to engage on a couple people. I start out by using my Wells first because I have the Chronomancer Relic, which gives me quickness, and that means that I can spam out more of my my Scepter 3 on my ally, but I'm getting pressured really hard, and so I swapped to my Sword Dagger set and use that to kite, because I can use the Sword 2 to port around and just stall, because if I'm being focused, then my ally doesn't need the support. So I'm just kind of going around stunning this Reaper so that they can't pressure me harder, but now they're on my ally, so I'm starting to heal them with the Shadow Squall, but it's a little bit slow because I didn't have the precasted support on them because I was trying to kite around. So you really need to manage supporting yourself and supporting your allies, and making sure that they also understand when you're kiting and that they kite when they need to, right? It's requiring a lot of awareness and positioning to play this comp position. But now there's a lot of enemies approaching us, and we're getting this Reaper still on us, so we need to start getting out. I'm in a really bad positioning, so I just swapped to swords so I can port to these river drakes so that I can stop being the focus target. I want my warrior to be the focus target at this point, but a thief jumps on me, and so I'm just constantly porting around, using the dagger 5 to go in stealth. Now I see that my ally needs healing again, so I'm gonna just go back to giving them support, because if they die, well, then that's probably worse than me dying, because we have really no damage from me, because even though Ritualist does some damage, I don't have deadly arts. So yeah, I really need them to be alive, and so I'm going to play as aggressively as possible to get my barrier and healing on them, and then they get the down, so now we're in a really good spot because I can go for some CC on the down body. I stealth so that they can relieve some pressure on my ally, and then I give out the venom to my ally to help them to secure more kills in this down situation. And yeah, they're pretty full on health. I'm giving them more barrier and quickness, which is a lot of fun, by the way, for warriors, where their animations are kind of slow. Playing with permanent quickness, you don't really get that unless you're on maybe some sort of like strength core warrior, or maybe like a berserker might get a decent amount of quickness. But yeah, it's really fun playing warrior, or really certain classes in general, just having permanent quickness in world versus world. And so it's really helping that DPS to get the damage out, and it's supporting them and allowing them to kind of play that more zerkery or aggressive hyper carry playstyle. Now here's a more larger scale situation where we've got multiple people that we can support, but you want to have a focus target that you kind of like take that target to whenever you're like, oh, there's someone that I need to support most of the time. And in this case, we've got 2 willbenders in party, so it's generally one of the willbenders, and you want to just have that focus target on whoever your like key person that you want to support is, and then from there you can just always know, okay, I want to support this guy. Generally, I'm going to target him, give him the boons, and if someone else needs support, then you can refocus them, right? But you want to always have the ability to tab target to someone really quickly. So now we're getting chased here, and I get revealed even though I give stealth to my ally, so we're in a bad spot. And I swapped a sword to get some extra like evades, but we're really low and we've got condies on us. My sword 2 I can return with and use my heal to go the opposite direction than the way that they were chasing us. So that's going to allow me to survive. So yeah, the sword 2 and juking with that is going to be extremely important for survival when you're getting focused. And it looks like all of my allies, except maybe one, got out because of that. So yeah, just stalling and creating distance for your allies is really important, but also understand that if you get focused by a ton of people, like I am about to be right here without stealth, you're going to die very quickly. So you really need to abuse that positioning and stealth at the right time. And I missed my stealth combo there, which is probably why I died and got punished. Now this is another duo roaming situation with the Spellbreaker, and we're just trying to, because we're going against like 5 people here, they're just not really engaging on us until we get close to them. And you just got to understand that when they have the advantage on you like this, you don't really need to go into their territory, they need to go into your territory. However, if we both believe in that, then no one's going to fight. So we're kind of like trying to force a fight so we can get some content. And that means that we're going to try to like kind of bait them back and just keep kiting them until we can finally get a better situation. That's how it works in solo roaming. It's how it works in duo roaming. And so now we're going to be focused by the Virtuoso here, and I'm just going to back off, give them the Scepter 3 so that I can immobilize them. But yeah, the Hollowsmith is now chasing me very hard. I go in stealth, but I reveal myself because I use the 3 skill, but that's fine because I can still use my sword 2 to port to this veteran Oakheart, because they're pretty much all just chasing me, which means that my warrior is not under pressure. I get out of combat, now I can go back and support my warrior and swap to the Scepter here, use the Scepter 3 to give them the boons once I get in range, and now they are pumping damage and they've got it down. So we're in a pretty decent spot here, because when a warrior gets it down, they have a lot of is a pretty good advantage, right? Because you can just keep cleaving the down body, and anyone who goes to res, they've got like infinite damage. And I am getting focused still, so I'm just playing safe, going in stealth, because my warrior doesn't need the support. And so if they're wasting time trying to go for me constantly, then we're in a good spot. This Virtuoso here is pretty low, and yeah, the other so there's 2 Virtuosos. The other Virtuoso is on me, And here you can see that, yeah, they keep going on me, and now my warrior's coming back to peel for me. It's always important when you're in this duo composition that whoever the DPS is attacks the nearest target, or whoever's on the Specter, because then they can support. If they can't support the warrior, then the warrior's going to eventually die. And if you attack who's on the Specter, then the Specter can support, and then you're both going to be fine. Here's a situation where we're in a really bad spot because essentially we're on the enemy side of SMC, and they just start coming out the woodworks eventually because we're pretty much the only people on the map that they can come and fight. And so there's going to be like cannons on us. There's going to be people respawning if they're coming back from their spawn, and just in general, anyone who sees us is just coming in. So we need to start leaving, and it's a little bit of a late response here by my warrior to leave this late. So we're in a bad positioning already, but we can still make up for that with our mobility, give some stealth to them to disengage, and I give super speed whenever I stealth, so that's pretty good for our movement speed here. And we just use the stability from the well there. Make sure you land it on your ally, because then it does the stability to them. And we're just going to keep using stealth here to give ourselves some super speed. And I can try to use my shadow squall while in the air there, but it doesn't work. So now we're just going to try to get on land. My ally stays in the water, so there's not really much I can do there, but I can still survive and stall time for them to respawn, because now we've baited them back to our territory. This is how I roam most of the time. I go into a really dangerous spot because I know enemies are not going to try to fight me fairly, and I try to just make it look like they can kill me, and then I go to a spot where it's more favorable for me and essentially force people to fight me in a fair fight. And I'm just kind of like baiting and poking them, as you can see, where I don't full engage to the point where I know that they can kill me, but also to the point where they kind of think, hey, this guy keeps trying to attack us, we should punish him. And they can't really punish me because Sword 2 is not very interactive. But we're stalling for time for our warrior to come off respawn, and we're just creating a better situation. You can see some people got bored and they stopped chasing, so now we've got a 2v2 situation. And this is why I think that the way that I roam is like the easiest way to get kills around the most like modern enemies, is because no one really wants to fight fair, and so you have to like gaslight them into thinking it's a fair fight, and then actually having the fair fight when it's on your terms, because when it's on your terms, it's probably still on their terms a little bit. So yeah, we get the immobilize here on their catalyst, and we give the stability out to our ally. I am seeing that the enemies are coming back in, and so we're just gonna pump our warrior up with the boons here. There's like 3 on us, maybe 4. Yeah, it looks like just 3 for now, but yeah, we're chasing this, I don't know, that was the catalyst. We get them down, so now I'm gonna try to cleave with my CC, with the poison from the Shroud 3, and now I can go for the stealth stomp, but it looks like we got the banner stomp on them or something. Yeah, that was the banner, yeah, so the warrior just used their banner to stomp that, so that's good. And now that we've gotten that kill, we should reset and look for the next kill. So the next kill is looking like this catalyst here. We get a nice Shroud 4 on them, which is poison and chill, and then I'm going to use my Shroud combo, of course, to give my warrior some barrier. Just pump them up with the quickness now. They're taking a lot of conditions, but if I CC the enemies, maybe I can stop the pressure. Use the combo here for stealth. That gives my ally some cleansing, by the way, and now we can use the Shadow Squall to heal them. Give them the... And another thing is that the Scepter 3 is going to move you towards your target when you're targeting an ally, and it doesn't really heal for that much. And so in a lot of situations, you want to target an enemy so that it ports you away, because when you target an enemy, it ports you away and then immobilizes them, and then retarget to your ally to give them the boon. So essentially what it does is it keeps you a safe distance away from your ally so that you're not just in the middle of everything. Whereas if you keep porting towards your ally, you're going to need to always back up, and then it just makes it kind of like inconvenient to stay at good positioning when you're constantly porting towards your ally. And so it allows you to like port away from the enemy and then move towards your ally if you're constantly tabbing target. But once again, that's a lot of like mechanical actions that is maybe not the easiest thing to do, and so it takes a lot of practice. Now in this clip, we get a couple enemies trying to stop us at the sentry. I'm going to immediately start supporting my ally with the barrier and the quickness. They see that I'm supporting and they start focusing me, so I use my wells to get away, get some distance, and then I'm going to go in stealth again here, which doesn't really do too much because the Hollowsmith has reveal, but my warrior in that time gets it down. So we're going to cleave with our shroud, put down the well so we can just keep supporting our ally and giving them presence in that situation. It's really easy to give presence when there's a down body, and now we can just give our ally the quickness. If anyone is on me, I'm just constantly moving back. Now you can see here, I'm doing the thing where I keep porting to my ally to heal them, but I'm like moving away at the same time so that I don't stand next to them. Because if I stand next to my ally that I'm supporting, then I'll probably get hit with all the CCs that they're getting hit with. So I don't want to do that. And so the positioning here is pretty important. And we're just gonna, yeah, our ally goes down, and this isn't great, but that's because we were just sitting there and tanking all the damage instead of kiting. And so we need to be constantly kiting back when we're this outnumbered. It's a lot of enemies, but I can still survive even though my ally is dead, and that's pretty important for creating those situations that I was showing before. And so you can see I'm using the sword too to port back and forth and then go into stealth, and eventually they can't really figure out where I am and I'm able to escape. So yeah, that's pretty much how you want to play the support Specter in World vs. World Roaming. So if you like this content, then please like the video, subscribe for more, and if you want to see a different build that doesn't already have like a gameplay commentary video on it, then let me know in the comments below, and I will see you all next time.